welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. I hope you're doing very, very well. Today's video, well, it's my July TBR, but it's a TBR like I haven't known it before. Because guys, I'm finally going to read my books. So this month, what I've decided to do, two things are going to be different about my reading this month. First of all, is that I'm going to log my reading differently. So instead of having a wrap up where I sit and talk, can you hear all those lovely birds outside, David?
Nice.
Isn't it lovely? They're really tweeting. So instead of doing a wrap up at the end of the month and a wrap up I always say sometimes midway through the month, but actually I've done it every month this year because I've just been reading so much. Partly because I've been reading so much, what I thought I would do is I would vlog my reading as the week goes on. So as I finish a book, sit down wherever I may be and talk to you about it, and that way it'll be really fresh. Got to remember to take my camera with me when I'm going places where I might be finishing books, but I thought that would be interesting. And then there'll be 4 sort of like weekly wrap-ups all going up on a Friday. So yeah, let's see how that goes. So I'm starting it, today is the 1st of July, and sort of linked in with that is that any books that arrive in the post this month, or if I buy them this month, they're going straight on my TBR. So at the moment, I'm saying the TBR should be small. It's not at the moment because I've got some books that have arrived since I last did a book haul. So there'll be no book haul this month because I'll be, during those reading vlogs, are we going to call them reading vlogs? I think so. If any books arrive, I'll be like, oh, and I've just got this in the post and I'm opening it and here it is and that's going on the TBR. So yeah, I do think it's going to be a month of big reading because of that reason. But let me show you some of the books I've got that will be on the TBR. So first of all are 3 books that I am part way through. And I'm actually, although I'm like, these are 3 books, but these are going to be finished in the next few days. All of them have got, no, not all of them. 2 of them have got less than 100 pages left. And this one I'll probably read as the months go on. So first of all, it's Leave the World Behind by Rumaan Alam, which I'm really enjoying so far. And it's about a family who go and stay in a holiday home. And whilst they're there, an elderly couple turn up and say that they're the owners of this holiday home and there's been a blackout in the city, and that they're not really sure what's going on and can they stay. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's really, really good. But yeah, it's a short little thing, and I started it on Cozy Reading Night, and as I said, I've got less than 100 pages, so that may even be my first book that I wrap up in my new wrapping up style. I don't know if the wrapping up style is going to stay forever. In fact, it probably won't, but I just thought it'd be interesting just to see, have a sort of like live reading month almost. Anyway, back to the books I'm going to be reading. I've also got Heartberries, a memoir by Therese Marie Malhart. As I said, is it less than 100 pages I've got of this? Just over 100 pages. I'd hate to lie to you, but it's 124 pages long and I'm on page 15. So yes, this is a memoir from Therese Marie, and talking about some sort of trauma she's been through and what it's like living on an Indian reservation. I'll be honest, I hadn't been getting on with it that well from the first sort of sections, but I think it's because it needs some dedicated time, and I think I need to just be reading this. So once I finish Leave the World Behind, I'll then start on this and probably get through it in like one sitting, because it's just over 100 pages to go, so I think it needs a bit of concentration. And then lastly, on books that I will be finishing in July, I've got Unwell Women by Eleanor Cleghorn. Oh, I just had a panic then because I thought I'd left the bedroom door open and all of our windows are open. I thought Minnie might have escaped. She hasn't, she's tucked in there. Yeah, a non-fiction book, Unwell Women by Eleanor Cleghorn. Started reading this on Cozy Reading Night. It is a history of women's health throughout the ages. At the moment, I'm in the ancient Greece to the 19th century section. There's a lot in there about witch hunting, sort of about the early beginnings of midwifery and things like that. I'm really enjoying it. I've been thinking a lot about women's health recently, in particular my own health, because my period pains are just wah-wah-wee-wah at the moment. And yeah, so this is a perfect read at a perfect time. So those are the 3 books I'll be finishing. Then I do have 3 books that I am planning on reading this month because of book club. So I'll do the 2 book club ones. So the first one is from my Patreon book club, and we're reading The Miseducation of Evie Epworth by Matson Taylor. The genre for July was coming of age, and this won the vote. It was between this and Belladonna by Ambara Salam, and this one. And this is set in the, this sounds like perfect sort of summer reading, because I quite like, you always say that, David, don't you? Coming of age stuff makes you think of summer. What's that film you love?
The Way, Way Back.
The Way, Way Back. That's one of David's favourite films, and that's a very coming-of-age summer film, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is set in the summer of 1962, and 16-year-old Evie Epworth stands on the cusp of womanhood, but what kind of woman will she be? So yes, I'm very excited to read this. And then for my book club with my pals, which is going on at the end of July as well, I've got Where the Forest Meets the Stars by Glendy Vanderer, which, yeah, it sounds, it's about a woman who... I mean, let me read it to you because it sounds like there's a lot going on here. So it says, after the loss of her mother and her own battle with breast cancer, Joanna Teal returns to her graduate research on nesting birds in rural Illinois, determined to prove that her recent hardships have not broken her. She throws herself into her work from dusk till dawn until a solitary routine is disrupted by the appearance of a mysterious child who shows up at her cabin barefoot and covered in bruises. The girl calls herself Ursa, and she claims to have been sent from the stars to witness 5 miracles. With concerns about the child's home situation, Jo reluctantly agrees to let her stay just until she learns more about Ursa's past. Yeah, this doesn't sound like my kind of book, and I'll be honest, I'm not particularly looking forward to it, but it's for book club. I'll give it a bloody good bash, and yeah, we'll see how we get on. I don't feel like it's going to be for me, but like I said, we'll see how we get on. And then lastly, before we get onto the books that have arrived, Shuggie Bain by Douglas Stewart. David, what's the situation with Shuggie Bain for you?
It's still on hold.
So this is going to be mine and David's next buddy read that we're doing. We filmed a video. We buddy read. Oh my god, what was that book called? When No One Is Watching.
When No One Is Watching.
By Alyssa Cole. I'll link that video down below. That was our first buddy read, and we really enjoyed doing it, didn't we, David?
We did.
So we're going to do it again, and we've selected Shuggie Bain as that book, as the book that we're going to buddy read. So David listens to the audiobook, and I read the book, and then we have a little discussion every time. So I've got this sitting here waiting. We're just waiting for David's audiobook to come in on Libby, because he's borrowing it from the library. We haven't bought the audiobook, he's borrowing it from the library. But it's been saying available soon for quite some time, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, but we'll be getting to that as well. So that'll be read as well. Then I've got the books that have arrived since my last book haul, including one that came in the post today that I will open shortly. First of all is one that I can't read this month because it's a sequel. It's actually the 4th in a series, and I've read none of the series. This is the 4th in the series of the Mirror Visitor series by Christelle Dubois. This is The Storm of Echoes, which is the dazzling finale of the international best-selling series. I don't want to say any more. The front covers, all of the front covers have been absolutely beautiful. Actually, now it gets to the point where I've got 2 of the finished ones. Can you see them here? Yeah, look there. Beep, 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 blue and green. And then I've got a lilac one of the second. So I think the blue one's the first one. The green one's the third one. I've got a lilac proof copy, which is the yellow one, which is the second one. And then this is a peach proof, which is also going to be the peach finished item. I don't want to look at that press release because I've read nothing to do with it, but I still really want to read it. It's a young adult translated series, translated from French, about a girl called Ophelia who is able, I'm sure her name's Ophelia, yeah, who is able to travel through mirrors. And in the first book, because I've only really looked at the plot for the first book, she is being I think it's some sort of like arranged marriage with a chap called Thorn is happening. But yeah, so this is the 4th. So this will not be being read this month. I actually had plans to read those books when I went to France last year, which never happened because COVID. So yeah, we're hoping to go to France this year. Who knows? And if that happens, I'll definitely be taking the whole set with me. God, it would be amazing, wouldn't it, to read a whole set of books in a week? God, imagine the vlogging opportunities. I hope that does happen, just for the vlogging opportunities. Then I've got 2 books that I bought when I was in Waterstones in Canterbury. Went to see Six the Musical last week with my mum and my sister. It was my mum's Christmas present from Christmas 2019. We were supposed to go last May, didn't happen. Got rescheduled for this May, didn't happen. Got rescheduled for June. Oh, it was just wonderful. I mean, just being out was wonderful, but like the whole performance was absolutely amazing. It's a musical, but like a girl group musical about the 6 wives of Henry VIII, and it was amazing. It's only an hour and 20 minutes long. There's no interval. You just full girl power, girl group, pop, 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 dance routines, catchy songs. Loved every minute of it. But before that, I popped into Waterstones, and I bought The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Delilah Harris, which I've been anticipating. And this is about a 26-year-old editorial assistant. Her name is Nella Rogers, and she's tired of being the only black employee at Wagner Books, which is a publishing house that she works at. So a girl called Hazel starts, and she is also black, and she thinks that she's like, oh great, we're going to be really good friends, and then something happens, I don't know what, and there's sort of, it says here that Nella becomes public enemy #1 and Hazel becomes the office darling. So I think it's sort of like, I've already, like, having just read Severance and really enjoying the sort of like office politics of that, I'm really looking forward to another book for sort of like office politics, but I also think this is sort of like a bit of a thriller as well. So yeah, looking forward to reading that. So that'll be read this month as well. And then I bought, at the pond, swimming at the Hampstead Ladies Pond, I have Jen bought me for my birthday, Kitchen Stories, is it called? I loved it. It was a collection of, in the kitchen, it's a collection of essays on food, and not just food. Like, one of my favourite essays in there is somebody talking about, is an essay about the different cookers that person has lived with throughout their life, from like, are they called cookers or stoves? What would you call that thing, David?
What?
Like a cooker or a stove? Is there another word for it? I feel like cooker doesn't sound right.
What are you?
The unit. So like the old fashioned, you know, the ones that used to have like the oven on the bottom and then the hob on top.
I just call it a cooker.
Cooker. Anyway, she's told her life through cookers, including like the one that was at her nan's house, the one she had when she first moved in with her husband, etc, etc. Loved it. So yeah, I loved that collection anyway, and knew that there was one about farming, I thought. I didn't know there was one about this, which is all different essays about swimming at the Hampstead Ladies Pond, which is something I always think about, weirdly. I'm a terrible swimmer. I can swim, but it's not very productive, the swimming that's going on. There's lots of splashing, it's really slow, I get very worn out, and yeah, so I'm not a very good swimmer, so swimming in an open outdoor water thing doesn't really happen. I'm much more of a sort of just down the shallow end having a lovely time. But I always think about the ladies' pond, and often like when I see people doing outdoor swimming, I think, oh, lovely for you, lovely for you. So yeah, this got me excited. So yeah, it says here, in these essays we see the pond from the perspective of writers who have swum there. Esther Freud describes the life-affirming sensation of swimming through the seasons. Oh god, that sounds lovely. I love seasonal stuff. Lou Stoppard pays tribute to the winter swimmers who break the ice. Margaret Drabble reflects on the golden Hampstead days of her youth. Charlene Teo visits for the first time, and Nell Frizzell shares the view from her yellow lifeguard's canoe. So yes, this sounds fantastic. So yes, I'll be reading this month as well. Isn't it exciting to say I'll be reading things this month? And then I received this book in the post, along with a beautiful journal, but obviously I won't be reading the journal because it's to be written in. This is Flapjacks and Feudalism, Social Mobility and Class in the Archers. And Philippa from the podcast Quick Book Reviews sent this to me. I was on Philippa's a Christmas episode of Quick Book Reviews last Christmas. Oh, we had such a lovely time. We were just talking about our favourite Christmassy books, and as a thank you, she was kind enough to send me some books then to thank me. Actually, one of the books was the Miseducation of Evie Epworth, and yeah, which was lovely of her. And then I've been having a bit of a tough time recently with my tooth and one thing and another. This just arrived. I mean, it went to David's parents' house because I'd given her their address, and yeah, got waylaid there for a week. But it was just such a lovely thing to receive, and I was just so delighted. And I imagine you're watching now, Philippa. Thank you again. But yeah, so The Archers is a podcast that I listen to. Also, Philippa is the co-host on an Archers podcast called Dumpty Dum, which is also full to the brim with Archers action. And yeah, so she bought me this. So The Archers is a podcast, which is a radio soap. It's been running for, I always want to say 75 years, but it might be less, it might be more. A long time. And there's a couple of these sort of like academic Archers books that are out. I've read the other one, which I can't remember what it's called. I think it might be called Sex, Gender and Gossip. Cake, Gender and Gossip or something in The Archers. I got it for Christmas off of David's parents last Christmas, not even Christmas just gone, the one before, and I've read it. David's dad is also into The Archers, and I actually lent that to him. I don't think he'll ever get around to you reading it, but I found it really, really interesting, particularly like I've been listening to The Archers now. David has recently just started listening to The Archers and he's very fond of it, but I was talking about it and I've been listening to The Archers for about 5 or 6 years now, so I'm pretty, like, I know the recent history in The Archers, but there's still stuff that like people will allude to that I haven't been around for in the way that you would in a normal sort of like village or family and stuff like that. So I'm still learning all the time. about the Archers. I love it. So yeah, so these books are really, really helpful. So I was so delighted to receive this. And yeah, I'll be reading it soon. It's a collection of essays about social mobility and class in the Archers. Very exciting. So we'll be reading that this month as well. Then this came in the post today. So let's have a look and see what this is. I've got an idea, I think, what it is. Ow! Because a publisher contacted me and asked me if I would like a copy of... Oh, it is, and it comes with a little gift as well. Oh, this is thinner than I thought it was going to be. Oh, this is lovely. So this is the paperback edition of The Mermaid of Black Conch by Monique Rossi. And it says here, jealousy. Near the island of Black Conch, a fisherman sings to himself while waiting for a catch. But David attracts a sea dweller that he never expected. Ikaya, I think. An innocent young woman cursed by jealous wives to live as a mermaid. Love. When American tourists capture Ikaya, David rescues her and vows to win her trust. David, there's somebody in here called David. Slowly, painfully, she transforms into a woman again. Freedom. Yeah, as their love grows, they discover that the world around them is changing and they cannot escape the curse forever. So yeah, so I got sent that. And also, always love a little book. Oh, that's lovely. It's got a little tab on it. The Mermaid of Black Conch. Tote bag. Always love a tote bag. We're forever using tote bags here. So let's have a look at the old TBR then. So the TBR is 10 books. I'll put the ones that I'm going to almost finished at the top. So these 3 are going to be finished, and then this is the rest of the TBR for the month, which is exciting, isn't it? It's exciting to buy books and read them instantly. Who'd have thought it's a new thing to do? Yeah, so those are the TBR. That is 10 books, as I said. I've been reading like almost 20 books a month, so that's probably half of the TBR. So yeah, do tune in for the reading vlogs, or I don't know what I'm going to call them, maybe just July reading. That will be up every Friday, where I'll be wrapping up my books as I go and seeing how I get on. Interesting, and yeah, see you all again soon for another booktube video. Goodbye!